Welcome to the show, Pavlo.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yes, for our audience, could you please tell us more about yourself, what you do, and about Concise Copy?
Yeah, so for the past 2 years, I've been helping B2B SaaS companies, especially early stage or mid stage ones, communicate what they do, what their product does in a clear and compelling manner instead of trying to do it all themselves.
Nice, nice. I think the first time we met was when you kind of did a teardown of OneFlow's website, and
Yeah.
I mean there were a lot of good insights, and we are trying to optimize them, as we speak, actually. So yeah, obviously we have a new version of our homepage coming in, but then yeah, there were a lot of very good insights, which we didn't see that, that way of looking at it or that from that perspective, but I think it
hmm
was good to get those insights.
Yeah,
So yeah, firstly, thanks for that. And
yeah, it was my pleasure. I do this for fun. uh, I would still be doing those if even if I didn't have to do those for LinkedIn.
nice, nice, nice. Yeah. And similarly, I mean, a lot of SaaS companies, are struggling with their messaging, which is very clear if you see their homepages or their website.
hmm
I guess a lot of people do not understand the importance of messaging. So I guess maybe today let's start from there. So why do you think a good messaging matters in B2B SaaS?
Well, essentially, if you think about it, messaging is a set of things you want your ideal buyers to know about your product, so that they can make an informed decision and be excited to throw money at your company product. So if you don't have this set of messages uh, like strategically thought about and like nailed, then you kind of best case scenario you kind of wing it and it still works or kind of works. And worst case scenario, like it doesn't work and you don't know why. You don't know
Mhm.
why people bounce off your website, why people don't book demos, why people don't sign up for trials. And the reason more often than not is just because, for example, your homepage just promises to increase revenue, which is probably a really, really far-fetched promise, because between them signing up for your product and their revenue increasing, so many things can go wrong. So many things can uh, get sideways. And but that's what a lot of companies do lately, and it's been getting better lately. But still, lots of companies end up promising that they will like increase revenue, reduce costs, or save time, and all of those are like technically true.
Yeah.
Sorry, technically true, but they are so marginal. It's like if a I don't know, a burrito place down the street would have advertised itself as something that improves your uh, revenue or improves your longevity, just because it gives you energy. But like there, it's very very distant outcome, and that's the problem, I think. Does it
Uh,
make sense?
yes, yes. Do you see, the B2B marketers not focusing on this messaging enough, like how it's done in B2C?
Uh, I think it's the reverse, actually. I think that a lot of B2B marketers, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of B2B marketers, and especially B2B founders who think they can, or either they know marketing or they try to educate themselves on marketing, uh, go research, find a bunch of good copywriting advice, which is good, but they misconstrue that advice and essentially just decide, not to mention that uh, that advice is mainly written for B2C. So they take the B2C advice and transpose it to the B2B world, where the buying process is entirely different, and the revenue and price points are like orders of magnitude higher than B2C. And so what it ends up happening is that you see, I don't know, a deliverability, like cold email deliverability tool advertising themselves using copy that they saw at apple.com. And like this Apple's copy may work for Apple because they spent like tens of billions of dollars over the past decades to build their brand, and they have the brand equity, and it almost doesn't matter what they say on their website because it's still, people will still buy it. But when a small like B2B SaaS says the same words, it just doesn't have the same effect. And yeah, it just all because of trying to apply B2C advice to B2B ecosystem and environment.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I think in B2B marketers basically spend a lot of time on the ads, and they kind of ignore that messaging is kind of crucial. So you can bring traffic from any source, but if your website does not convey what you actually want to convey, you will end up seeing a lot of bounce rate. You will end up seeing people not converting, or in the end helping grow the customers or ARR. So yes, messaging is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to add to this, another question is, uh, according to you, what makes a compelling B2B SaaS homepage?
Uh, like, this advice about copy that they say like clear is more important than clever.
Hmm?
Clear copy is more important than clever copy.
Yeah.
And this is like sound advice, and this is good. But what's even more important than clarity is relevance. So first it has to be relevant, then it has to be clear, and only then you can try to make it clever. And what B2B messaging and homepages and websites in general need to be doing first is to make sure that whatever they're saying is relevant to the ICP they want to be talking to. And you cannot physically be talking to everyone, because if you would try to talk to everyone, you would have to say the broadest thing possible, which is
Right.
again goes to Apple as copy. And you're not trying, your total addressable market isn't in billions of people. Your total addressable market is probably 10,000 companies worldwide, and inside of those companies you only want to talk to like 5% of the employees. And so it just like gets you to, I don't know, 200 people that you have to absolutely nail down the arguments for, and they will buy, and you don't really care about anyone else. But then again, marketers, either because of a overwhelmingly large amounts of B2C advice or momentum from B2C advice, because it's so we are so used to seeing all the marketing in the like our everyday lives as consumers of, I don't know, groceries, cars, whatever. This just people refuse and are too afraid to focus on a very specific ICP first, and tailor a very specific message for those ICPs before you can actually broaden it and earn the brand equity to afford lead in with a more broader message, if that makes sense.
Got it. Got it. And based on the current, market conditions, or you can call it economic conditions, do you see a change in the way we should message? So mainly two reasons, I would say. One is, with AI, obviously there are a lot of tools that has come in. So every category has a lot of software. So how do you make kind of that differentiation? I think that, I don't know if that was that relevant maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but currently it is. Second, with the economic conditions out there, every company wants to, tighten their purse. They don't want to spend a lot on tech,
Yep.
which means everyone is they clearly want to understand what's the ROI of getting this tool. So these two changes, I think, has largely impacted maybe in the last 1 or 2 years, and it's going to increase further in the coming years. Do you see a need to change the way we do the messaging, especially in SaaS?
I don't think there's like a fundamental shift in terms of how to do messaging, but I think that iterating on your messaging is something you should do at least, I don't know, like twice a year, maybe. Like ideally every quarter. And the earlier stage you are, it probably should be done more often. I know I recently spoke to a founder who iterates on their homepage every month. They do a lot of sales. They get insights from the sales calls, and they adjust their homepage messaging based on how their sales calls go every month. So, in terms of whether or not your messaging should be changing, yes, it should definitely be changing. It should be evolving and iterating. The more often the better, obviously, reasonably. You cannot just spend all your time A/B testing or changing your homepage every week, but like a reasonable cadence for this, depending on your stage, is every quarter or twice a year. You should probably take a look at your homepage and the rest of your marketing assets, really, because they are connected, and see whether or not it should like be adjusted slightly. Now, to address the AI and the economic conditions notion that you just shared. Now, for AI, leading with AI powered was only relevant for, I don't know, like 3 months or like maximum 6 months in this transition period between, oh, like AI really can do things, and then oh, now like every tool has AI in it, so like it doesn't matter. And what people may care about is what the value add of having AI is. So you may not want to slap the AI powered sticker onto your product unless this is a decisive factor for your specific ICP. But what you want to talk about is why having AI matters to your ICP. Why is it like something worth their attention in the first place? And like, what could they have not done with other tools that don't have AI? Now, if you say this, then mentioning AI is justified. Otherwise, this is just a pretty word that would probably be like, they won't even notice it, because like everyone claims their AI, and adding a OpenAI endpoint to your product is like, even I, a marketer who can barely code, I could call and do like an API call to OpenAI and call myself an AI powered consultant. I don't know. Like, this is just begins to be irrelevant. It already is, I think. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Nope. It says you're on mute in okay, now you're not on mute in Riverside. Nope. Still can't hear you. Nope.
Still no?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know why that is. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Yeah.
Yep.
So then, how to develop a good value proposition, kind of without guessing?
This is something that I was struggling with myself even as I started my consultancy, because when I was writing copy for my clients, I would develop something that's solid, something that's working, but I didn't have a process, and it was, I would say, I had a conversation this week with a founder who said they were doing like flavor of the week kind of approach to messaging, and I was almost doing the same. It was still working, it was still decent, but like it was opinionated without good reason for it to be opinionated. So I figured it out by realizing that you cannot construct a compelling message without deciding who you're talking to. Because if you're trying to talk to everybody, like it just becomes very, very vague. And if you're, as I mentioned, if you only talk to a specific subset of employees at a specific type of company who have a very specific problem, suddenly you don't have to say broad things, and you can say very specific things. So in the framework that I currently use, it has 4 stages, and stage 1 is defining the ICP, and this is pretty not basic but fundamental stuff, like what type of company do you want to sell to, what type of company are wasting your time on sales calls. You don't want those on sales call. What's the difference between the two? Like, so what is the qualifier of a type of company that you want to sell to and that isn't going to waste your time? Now, inside that company, there's a specific type of person with a specific responsibility, a thing they own. Maybe it's a position, maybe they're just in charge of X, and X has a really is really related to the product that you're selling. Now, that person that owns X has lines in their job description that are very relevant to your product. These are their jobs to be done, and they are currently, without your product, they are making do. There's a specific way of doing those things that they have already without your product in the picture, but it doesn't work. That status quo just doesn't work for some reason. Otherwise, they wouldn't be interested in making the switch. Now, this problem, there's how it doesn't work, there's a specific reason why it doesn't work, and there's an end result, what they end up with when they have this problem. And it's not good. They want to get rid of it. So this is how we define the ICP. In the next stage, we just go deeper into the jobs to be done and break down those jobs to be done into specific, like 3 to 5 activities that they are doing, like either daily, weekly, maybe monthly. And we say, so this ICP says, I want to do X. This is their activity. Right now, I'm doing it by, and there's a specific way of doing that specific activity. But the problem is, I have this pain about this activity and this way of doing it. And you do it for like 3 to 5 activities, list the activity, the pain, the current way of doing things, and then you rank those pains by how severe it is. So essentially, if it's not too bad, it may be a 1 or 2. If it's just like, please don't make me do this again, it's probably a 4 or a 5. And you just rank those, ideally without repeating. Like if you have 5, ideally you have them ranked from 1 to 5. They probably cannot be all ranked as a top pain. There's a difference there. Now, you may notice that we haven't talked about your product at all yet. And a big mistake a lot of founders make, not necessarily marketers, but a lot of founders are making, that they start with a product, not with their ICP. In this process, we started with our ICP, and we went half of the way already through the process without ever talking about the product. Now we bring the product into the picture. We have this table of activity, current way of doing that activity, and the pain associated with it. Now we take our product and find specific features in our product that alleviate those pains, that help them do that activity without that pain or minimizing that pain. And we, row by row, for each activity, we find a feature that more or less fixes that pain for that activity. And we define the capability. So with that feature, you can now do, and end result, the capability, you can now do something that you want to do in the first place, but without the pain. And after you do it for each activity, you have a feature, capability, and you rank how those capabilities and how impressive those are to those ICP that we defined in the first place. And again, if it's not really impressive, it may be a 1. If it's like really impressive, like if your product didn't have anything else, I would still buy it. Then it's a 5. So you have those rankings, and the magic happens when you add up the pain rating and the impressiveness rating into a single score, and you rank both tables by that added score. And what you have in the end is essentially a list of most painful problems your specific ICP has that your product solves most impressively. And these make sense to lead with on your homepage, in your marketing, in your ads, in your case studies, in your blog posts that you write right now. Everything, literally everything can be like a running thread through all of your marketing could be those key messages about the most painful problems that your product solves most impressively, and that is the most compelling thing you can have in your marketing to lead with, other than the social proof. But again, you could pick the social proof that references those pains or the impressive solutions that your product can offer. So this is the approach that I'm using for my clients when they need to figure out what the hell do we talk about? Like our product is so great, but it's so broad, and like what do we lead with?
Got it. So just to summarize, defining ICP, which I think is a lot of companies miss this step, which is the most crucial step.
Yep.
Second is identifying pain points for each of these for your ICP and ranking them. That again is, I think, a step that everyone misses. Third is highlighting your product features or capabilities that can solve the pain points. Again, rank them, because this is always a challenge that everyone has. Okay, what do we mention? Should we mention everything? Should we highlight everything? And then your website or your homepage is going to be like several folds long, and it's too long, and no one scrolls beyond third fold. And then it's again back to square one, the same challenge. And the last step is social proofs that can kind of, tell that, okay, this is how the product can solve it. So yes, it's very clear, very concise, yet people miss this due to some reason, which I totally don't know. And one question to add to this, I know it's not completely about messaging, but there is always this question of, should we have more product visuals, demos on the website, like the product demos, or what do you have any thoughts on this?
I do, and I think it was Pep Laya, founder of Winter and CXL, who recently shared that almost every winter test they have, they consistently see that people want to see the product. They want to. They aren't sure what the product is until they see it. Even if you describe it, they still want to see it. And I agree, this is something that really is like some websites do it really well, and funnily enough, the messaging may suck, but the visuals are not, because the developer or like the founder was so frugal that he didn't invest in messaging, he didn't invest in fancy design, so he just took a screenshot or filmed a Loom video of their product and just put it on the website. He didn't overthink it, and that's a good thing, ended up being, because she just showed the world what the product looks like, even if all of the rest of the website doesn't make any sense, it's like Apple's copy, at least there's a Loom video showing the product, and that makes up for poor messaging somewhat.
Got it. So yes, people want to see the product even before they sign up for a trial, which makes a lot of sense. So they clearly understand what they want, and it does the product kind of give that before investing time in doing a trial or talking to the sales team. Yeah.
One exception for this maybe if someone they trust recommends the tool, like maybe their agency they have good relationship with recommends this tool, so they say, okay, you have to sign up for this. This is just like, it will make your problems go away. And they say, okay, they log in, they don't read the website, they aren't looking for visuals, all they look for is the sign up button, and they do it. And that's probably the only case where showing the visuals doesn't really matter. But then again, the moment your recommendations stop coming in, maybe your affiliate marketing stops working, maybe the market changes and like people stop recommending you for some reason for like a different alternative. That's it. You have no signups essentially.
Got it. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. One last question, and I'm sure a lot of people also have the same question. Should they hire a messaging consultant, or should they do this 100% in-house?
I'm obviously biased because I do this for a living, but I always like half of my marketing on LinkedIn and elsewhere is me throwing my messaging canvas to people for free, because I do believe that companies can do it themselves in-house without hiring me or any other messaging consultant if they can dedicate the time and effort to going through with it, and they know their customers well enough. And yeah, like I'm just pushing people to think about messaging in a better way without necessarily hiring me. Now, if they need help with it, they can hire me. So I would say the benefit of having a consultant is just that the consultant has the breadth of different businesses trying to do the same thing, and they can warn if something has flopped, or recommend something that has really worked. And like, it's just the variety of experience is something that a consultant can bring. But on the other hand, doing it in-house can really help your team to like, you can source a little bit more of in-house expertise on the product to guide your messaging. But then again, doesn't mean that you cannot do the same with the consultant and having your entire team's input about the product and the market and whatnot. So I would say it is possible to do without hiring a consultant, definitely. And I know companies, big and small, doing it without one and doing a killer job of it. But sometimes you have no expertise internal to do this, and that's probably the main blocker for doing this well in-house. Sometimes you just don't have the time and you need someone to take care of it, while the marketing teams busy doing like ongoing campaigns or something like that. So yeah, like, it depends. I wouldn't say hiring a consultant is absolutely necessary, but it's like, as with any consultancy, if you really need it and you cannot probably do it yourself, there's no reason not to hire a consultant.
Got it. Yeah. But we all know that this is kind of the most important step that B2B or SaaS company needs to do, because you can bring traffic to your website, but then if your website does not say have the right messaging, yeah, it's just going to be a leaky bucket
Yep.
out there. So definitely yes, whether it's through consultants or having a team in house, I feel yeah, every SaaS company needs to invest time, effort on getting the messaging right, and also testing it, because you cannot say okay, this is right. You need to continuously test and optimize and see
Yep.
impact of it, exactly like you had highlighted earlier as well. So perfect. A lot of insights. Pablo, thank you for sharing your expertise on crafting B2B SaaS messaging, and the two effective ones, and also highlighting how essential it is to have clarity and relevance in your messaging and copy, in order to resonate with your ICP and your audience. So thanks once again, Pablo. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. It was my pleasure as well.